Have any of you ever come across some of these at your home? These used to be pretty common around your house in the glove box. Well, these are maps, as you can probably tell. Specifically, they're road maps. Road maps help people find their way from place to place. If you moved into a new town, you'd buy a street map to help you figure out how to get to work, school, or church. If you went on vacation, you'd need an interstate map to help you get from home to Disney World. And once you got to Orlando, you need another street map to help you find your hotel. And once you get to the park, you need a map to help you find all the rides. Imagine if you were to get lost and all you had to find your way were these maps. You'd have to search and search to find where you are, and then you have to search and search to find the right road. If you're lucky, you'd find a place to stop and ask for directions. You can probably imagine how many arguments moms and dads would get into on the way to Disney World if dad got lost or wouldn't stop and ask for directions. All these maps are now obsolete thanks to smartphones and GPS. Now almost everyone has an app on their phone that not only gives them directions but also tells them where they are at all times. If you've ever walked into a bookstore, you'll find that one of the largest sections is the self-help section. They have books on everything from making money to finding love to being happier. But just like these maps, those books are not necessary. We have a source in God and God's Word, and He can tell us where we need to go. What's more, God knows where we are. There's no getting lost. God knows where we are, how far off the path we are, and what it takes to get us there. And God will never say no when we ask for help. He will always be there to help us find our way back. One day we may find we won't need our phones to get around anymore. Our map apps will be as out of date as these maps. But one thing never changes, and that's God's love for us. God has a direction and a plan for your life. All it takes is a willing heart to follow His lead.
Jesus was born in Bethlehem, in a region where the evil King Herod ruled. About the time of Jesus' birth, some wise men from the east arrived in Jerusalem, asking King Herod,
"Where is the newborn King of the Jews? We saw his star as it rose, and we have come to worship him."
King Herod was angered by what he heard. A king other than himself? In his own land? Herod called a meeting of the leading priests and teachers of religious law and asked,
"Where is the Messiah supposed to be born?"
"In Bethlehem, in Judea, for this is what the prophet wrote."
"You, Bethlehem, are one of the smallest towns in Judah, but from you will come one who will rule Israel from me. He comes from very old times, from days long ago."
Then King Herod called the wise men back in for a private meeting. He told the wise men,
"Go to Bethlehem and search carefully for the child. And when you find him, come back and tell me so that I can worship him too."
After listening to the king, the wise men left to follow the star. They arrived at the place where Jesus was, and going into the house they found the promised child and his mother Mary. They gave him offerings of gold, frankincense, and myrrh, and were so overjoyed at the fulfillment of God's promise, they bowed before Jesus and worshipped him. That night in a dream, the wise men were warned about returning to King Herod. He was plotting to kill Jesus. When they awoke, they departed and traveled back to their home country a different way.